I'm Mike Tolliver. Back in 1983, a mission team of 18 disciples arrived in New York to plant our congregation there. Today, that church has grown to over 3,000 disciples in 11 regions, scattered across the New York City area. In September, the church celebrated its 30th anniversary, and HotNews was there on the streets of the Big Apple, where disciples are brightly shining the light of Christ. First up that weekend was the ICOC delegates meeting. Around the world, we have 31 families of churches who each sent delegates to New York for the annual meeting. The delegates come from over 50 countries, elders, evangelists, and women's ministry leaders, teachers, and they discuss things like ministry training, mission funding, Hope Worldwide, future conferences, and a host of other issues. Okay, these topics may not sound exactly exciting, but these meetings matter, and we are thrilled to see our churches cooperating closely worldwide. Next up, the Conference of Youth and Family Ministry kicked off on Friday night. After the opening ceremony, Dave Pachta and Justin Renton stepped up to deliver the keynote sermon.
It is absolutely incredible to be in New York City for this monumental weekend.
In the last few years, many ICOC churches have adopted the youth and family model that strengthens families by bringing teens and parents together for spiritual teaching, training, and service projects.
The biggest difference was the change in culture that was happening within the families and the change in the church culture to become family friendly.
Finally, on Sunday morning, the New York City Church came together for a monumental 30th anniversary service. Over 5,000 people gathered at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in Manhattan, both New Yorkers and members from neighboring churches nearby. 2 new elders were appointed.
And it's with great joy that we see Kevin and Cedric become appointed today as elders of the New York City Church of Christ.
Next, the church called the original mission team members to come up on stage. My wife and I were proud to be a part of the original 18 who moved to New York in 1983. Steve and Lisa Johnson led the church planting, and I was the first evangelist appointed. So I was honored when they asked me to preach that morning. It was an amazing moment, remembering the small team from 30 years ago and seeing the huge crowd present now. God is awesome. Obviously, the New York City Church rejoices in what God has done over the last 3 decades, but the disciples are also dreaming of far greater things for Him in the decades to come. Here at Hot News, we love New York, and we thank God for the example you have given us of how a tiny mustard seed can now grow up to impact the world. God bless. We'll see you back at the website.